Start recording. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something kind of different. We're going to be ranking albums from Gym Bro Metalcore legends Bleeding Through. And let me tell you this right now. This band is not for everyone. There's a lot of tough guy lyrics in this one. This is just a band for the gym. And I have a special feature with me. I got my uncle with me. Say- Yep. And we're going to start off with their 2001 debut, From Dust to Ashes. I personally put this at great. It's a little rough, if I'm being honest. It's not the worst I've heard, but it kind of reminds me of like As They Lay Dying's debut or Killswitch Engage debut, of where it almost feels like a demo. And in my opinion, there are still some standouts. Like I still really like Shadow Walker and I Dream of July and Lay on the Train tracks. But everything else is solid, if not perfect, at least in my opinion. Because a lot of these tracks also got reworked on the next two albums, especially tracks like Turncoat to the Touch and Just Another Pretty Face. And I think they are far superior on the next two albums than this album, at least in my opinion. But still, some great riffs, some great drumming. Just the vocals are pretty weak at this point, at least in my opinion. But next up, we got Portrait of the Goddess, released in 2002. And in my opinion, what a glow up, honestly. This is going to fantastic. I would personally give this album, just for its own discography and its own ranking, in my opinion, I would probably give this like a 9.8, maybe a 9.5. I really enjoy the opening track Rise, but my personal favorites on here are Our Enemies, the title track, and Insomniac. Those are my three personal favorites. I also rather enjoy 3 Part 2, or Ill Part 2, whatever you want to call it, I Dream of July, and Turncoat to the Touch. Great reworkings, but the three standouts on this one that just go so hard and are so perfect for the gym. Like if you work out, you need these tracks in your playlist, like Our Enemies, the title track, and Insomniac. Like you need these three tracks in your playlist. But I would say the weakest of those three though is the title track, but the other two are like just chef's kiss, exactly what I want for the gym. But next up we have This Is Love, This Is Murderous. And to me, this is going to the top of Fantastic. And this was released in 2003. I really love the opening track, "Love Lost in Hell of Gun in Hell of a Gunfire." I love that Boondock Saints sample too of "There Was a Firefight." Love that one. I also really enjoy Sweet Vampirius and Number 7 with a Bullet. On Wings of Lead is my least favorite. Just the clean vocals. The clean vocals aren't great on this track, if I'm being honest with you. But it does pick back up with What I Bleed Without You and This Love, this and the title track and City of the Condemned and Mutilation. If they just ditched On Wings of Lead, I would probably put this in perfection, but this is still a great album for the gym. Like it gets you so hyped and so ready to just like lift weights or punch a sandbag, like like one of those sandbags that you punch. Like it just gets you ready for like a fist fight almost. But next up we have The Truth, released in 2006, and this is my least favorite. Um this is kind of my main problem with it, if I'm being honest. The increase of clean vocals, and the clean vocals just aren't quite there yet. Like For Love and Failing is a solid opener, but those clean vocals just kind of suck. But it does pick it back up with The Confession, The Painkiller, and She's Gone, and Hollywood Prison are all solid tracks. The Truth is a solid instrumental to close things out. I could really do without Line in the Sand though. This is easily their worst track. This is like a 3 out of 10. This thing sucks. But the rest of it is solid with its standouts too, like that I mentioned. But seriously, avoid Line in the Sand at all costs. This song sucks. But next up we have Declaration, released in 2008. And now this is where, Gary, do you want to chime in on this one?
Okay, yeah, for me, like I said, I like the lead guitars was good. The lead guitar was good. I like the bass samplings, the drums. But there again, kind of like you've already echoed, I think the lyrics was okay, but I just think overall they like a theme. They like a storytelling for me.
Yeah, like I can get what you're saying about that one. Trust me, there are still like far better metalcore bands than this, in my opinion. But for their own, I enjoyed this, and this is still a perfect band for the gym, in my opinion. Like you just like this is like the perfect now for like football players or gym bros. And that's the mindset I'm approaching it from this. And in my opinion, if you approach it from that mindset, you can still have a good time with this band. You just gotta really temper your expectations for this band, in my opinion.
Music to pump you up. Is
Yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah,
Yeah,
this is basically music to pump you up. And in my opinion,
I can see
this
that.
is going to perfection. I think this is one of their most hype albums and one of their strongest albums from guitar work, bass work, drumming, and even the vocals. I really love tracks like the title track, Orange County Blonde and Blue, Germany, There Was a Flood, and French Inquisition. Even the instrumentals are pretty solid in my opinion, like Finis Fatilis. I only speak English, okay? I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry if I butchered that pronunciation. I also love the loving memory of England, and even Sister Charlatan is a solid closer as well. Same with Sellers Market. Maybe, I'll be honest, maybe it's a little long in places, mainly with the closer, but the rest of it is so tight and strong that it doesn't bother me personally. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, I totally agree with your sentiments on that one. Um, I also agree with. I think this has the most theme out of the ones I listen to. A lot of them's based around the same, points in history. I'd say.
Yeah, this one's actually like a tribute to touring as well, honestly.
Yes.
And here's just a random fun fact for you. They were actually in a big fight with their like production studio, and they actually encouraged their fans to steal this album because they posted it online, and they didn't want to give any money to their production studio because they were just screwing them over so bad. There's your fun fact for this album. But next up, we have their self-titled, released in 2010. Oh, and Declaration was released in 2008. This is going to amazing for me. I think it's a little bit of a step down, in my opinion, from Declaration. Personally, my personal favorite tracks on this one are Breathing in a New Wrath and This Time Nothing is Sacred. Those are my two personal favorites. Everything else is solid on this one, but those two just stand out, in my opinion. But other standouts I would say that are not quite as high, I would say Antihero, 15 Minutes, Distortion Devotion, and Revolving Hype. Sorry, I didn't listen to that one. Distortion Devotion, and I would also say Your Abandonment. What do you think?
I don't know why, but for some reason, when I was listening through here, "Divide the Armies" kind of stuck out to me. I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, just divide. I don't know. Maybe that one just went the hardest for you out of all of
Yeah,
them,
I
honestly.
believe so.
Yeah, all right. But next up, we have The Great Fire. And this is actually my personal favorite. I really enjoyed The Great Fire. I like that it's like 14 tracks, but none of the tracks exceed 4 minutes. This is probably their tightest and most focused, in my opinion. It just goes so hard from the opening instrumental of the march all the way to the closer of Back to Life. But standouts for me, I would say Goodbye to Death, Everything You Love Is Gone, The Devil and Self Doubt, and One by One.
Yeah, to me, I think this one was the most polished, almost, closest to what they're trying to reach.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Like this one is just the most neat and tidy.
Yes.
And it just goes so hard and it's so focused. And I just love it, even at 14 tracks, because normally that's a big bugbear for me. I think an album is at its tightest when it's at like 12 to 10 tracks. But this one's just so tight and needy that I don't care. So,
Yes. And here's what's odd about this one. I wouldn't put one track above another. I think they were all about equally as good.
yeah, I agree with that sentiment. Next up, we have Love Will Kill All, released in 2018. Oh, and The Great Fire was released in 2012. And in my opinion, I like this more than the self-titled, but I don't like it. Oh, sorry, I like it more than From Dust to Ashes, but I don't like it quite as much as the self-titled. There is a bit of a step up in clean singing, especially in the first half. And I think the first two tracks are solid, but I would have preferred if we kicked things off with Indus and Cold World. Honestly, I think that would have been a stronger start. I also rather enjoy tracks like No Friends, Slave, Life, and Set Me Free, but I can understand this one doesn't go quite as hard. I do love the album art for this one though. Like I don't know what this is. It looks like a red cloak surrounding a man's face, and it just looks really cool to me, honestly. But honestly, I could probably say you could probably trim out some of the clean singing, even though I think ever since like Declaration, the clean singing has gotten a lot better. I do think maybe there's a touch too much clean singing on this one, which drags it down slightly, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yes, I definitely agree with you. I would put this. Yeah, I don't rate this one as high as the last two.
Yeah.
And for me, yeah, it does have the same feel, So, and I think it's probably the clean singing you're talking about. It just kind of falls a little short.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. But next up, we have their newest album released in 2025, Nine. And in my opinion, this is a step up from the last album, but it's still not as good as the self titled. I put it like right behind the self titled. My personal favorite track on here is Lost in Isolation. I really love that. I also like that Brendan, that's the lead singer's name, by the way, if you didn't know, is Brendan Chiapati. I love that they allow their synthesizer player, Marta, to do clean vocals on this one too, honestly. I like the incorporation of female clean vocals on this because they show up in like Lost in Isolation, I Am Resistance, Emery, and I think they show up as well in Path of Our Disease. But Lost in Isolation is my standout for this one. It just goes the hardest, it's the most powerful, and it probably has the best vocal call outs in my opinion as well. But everything else here is solid from Gallows to Our Brand is Chaos to Dead But So Alive and Hell Destructor. It just doesn't rise quite to that level of Lost in Isolation. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they're getting farther and farther away from where they originally started at, in my opinion, with this album. I liked it. It was good. I say it was okay, but not as much as some of the other albums. And I think we're seeing their evolution of trying to, change more to, like you say, clean singing.
Yeah, and to a certain degree, I appreciate that they incorporated the female clean vocals because
Yeah.
I don't know if this is my opinion. I prefer Marta's vocals over Ben Sherpatti's vocals personally. I just think they're more clean and a little bit more powerful. But that's kind of like my own bias though, because I kind of prefer female clean vocals over male clean vocals. Apart from like one exception with Howard Jones of Killswitch Engage, because he's my favorite singer of all time. But most of the time, I think female clean vocals just land a little bit better for me than male clean vocals. What do you think?
I think it depends on the track. I could like either or. It just, depends on the track and who it is.
Yeah, that's understandable because I don't know because I've seen some great like female vocalists, like Tatiana from Ginger, for example. I think she's a great clean vocalist and a great screamer. But there's also like Mariah Brink, where she can be a little hit and miss from time to time. Like I think she's a strong, clean vocalist, but I don't think she's perfect like Tatiana is, in my personal opinion. But anyway, any closing thoughts?
Overall, they're okay. Like I said, a couple of albums are good to, work out to the gym or get you pumped up for the day, whatever you want to do. Definitely worth a listen though.
Alrighty then. Well, that should do it, y'all. I hope all of you have a great day, a great weekend, and a great week. And if you like, see my uncle here, comment that below. I'll bring him on for the next video, honestly. But that should do it. Tell me your Bleeding Through ranking in the comments below. Tell me your favorite songs by this band. And if you like what you see here, feel free to drop a like. And if you want to see more, drop a subscribe. I usually post videos once a week. But That should do it. Take care, everyone. See ya next time.